Hey, it's me again. Today, wait, I think it's been 2 weeks or so since I haven't uploaded a YouTube video. But I'm not gonna force myself to do it since I'm doing for fun. Also, my camera have one battery left, so gonna go fast. Or maybe I'll just record separate. I feeling awkward and shy as usual, like I'm feeling anxious and stuff, but I'm doing it for myself for another day. Today, I want to talk about a topic about self love. Uh, maybe I'm not like the right one to talk about it because, whoops, no wait, let me just off the Wi-Fi. There, we go. Maybe I'm not really like the the best person to talk about it because actually I don't know also like what it means for self love. You know, like today it's like the first time I actually write down write down my points instead of just talking, blankly. I mean I usually have ideas of that, but I thought writing down some points can help me out to if I have any idea to say, instead of how to say, instead of stucking in the middle. I will still do that for sure, but yeah, I think writing down really helps me to think and there's like a clearer direction. So I don't really have an answer for what it means to self love. It feels weird because I think loving someone and loving yourself is maybe it's not so much of a difference, but maybe it also have some sort of difference. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but it always feels cliche to say, oh, you must love yourself and stuff, and I never really know what it means and how. So today I decided to write down to have some time to think and to write down. Already right now I have no answer for that, but yeah, I'm gonna try to talk about it. Like, what do I think and what ways do I think can help for self love. I think for someone who has been neglecting his health and being for like I think 7 years. I don't know if it's that long, but yeah, looking back since high school, I was very depressed and I didn't have much friends. It's not like people hate on me. It's kind of more like because of my own frustration and I feel lost and stuff. I don't know how to socialize, and then you know it makes sense people dislike me and such. It makes sense that we all do this kind of stuff when we were younger. We were more immature back then, and sometimes I feel kind of upset lah, because it's been a long time, but I still haven't really let go of it. But I also validate my emotion for it because it can be hard, because one thing happens or one words, it can stuck in your mind, and then you know it keeps popping up from time to time. But I would say right now compared to back then, I really improved a lot. I'm really proud, to be honest. I feel like I'm not proud enough of myself, like I because I too often focusing on what what I am not enough and what I haven't achieved. So I I tend to be very harsh to myself. The idea of this is so simple, why can't I do it? Why I can't do it? So I think that's one thing. So I think, yeah, there's really a different. There's more or less different between self love and loving others. I think even me and my mom, we talk. Sometimes she thinks like it's kind of funny how I know how to cheer people up, how to support people, give people love, and be kind to others. But I don't. I rarely do that to myself. At least back then. Right now, I can starting to see bit by bit. But back then, I all I do is just be kind to others, and not myself. I guess it's kind of like an expectation. It's like if I be nice to you, then I expect you to be nice to me back. So I think there's this idea of longing and desiring for others, for their love, their care, their support, their attention, to feel good about myself. And when I don't get that, I feel upset. So I think that's one problem. I feel like whether it's when it comes to romance or friendship or family, I think it applies the same concept of rushing for or longing for this kind of love and affection from someone else, and to feel good we're to feel good about ourselves, to feel good about myself. So it becomes like a dependence. Basically, I would only feel happy if someone treat me nice, and if I don't get that, I will feel frustrated, I will feel upset. So I think that's one unhealthy part I found from myself through growing up, through interacting with family, uh, meeting more people, especially joining my first company. There's a lot of people that they're very interesting, and I feel like talking to them really inspired me a lot, and made me realize, oh, maybe everyone was so different. It's not like what you see on media, and all that. Everyone are, yeah, very unique in their own ways, and I feel like there's a lot of things I can learn from them, and there's also a lot of things they can learn from me. I'm not perfect, and I might be young, I might not have so many experience, but I believe I have a gift. I have a few gifts actually, uh, and I feel like age doesn't define your wisdom. I feel like you know I'm not gonna let all these external factors to how to say to block or to become my to block me from sharing my thoughts and emotion, even though it could be wrong. I think if it's wrong, then learn from it, own up to my mistakes, admit that I'm wrong, apologize, and then learn from it. uh, so what I learned from stoicism, I don't necessarily know everything accurately from stoicism, but here's what I search on Google because I don't remember everything I read in the books, but I mean I do understand more or less of it. But based on Google, it says Stoicism holds that the key to be good, happy life is the cultivation of an excellent mental state, which the Stoic identify with virtue and being rational. The ideal life is one that is in harmony with nature, of which we are all part of which we are all part, and an attitude of calm indifference towards external events. Uh, Actually, Stoicism it may seem complicated at first, but the longer you read, you sort of understand the idea more or less, slowly. And the first book I read was Discourse and this Discourses and Selected Writing by Epictetus, and that's how I first get into Stoicism, which is suggested by PewDiePie. So thank you for suggesting. So here's a few things I list down about what I've about ways to cultivate self-love. I think it's very easy to start wondering what is the meaning of life. What is the meaning of self-love and all these things. Is that even a point? kind of like existential crisis. But I think it's easier. I think it's common. We all ask this question. We born, we experience, and then we die. So is that actually a point to it? And I think to make it short and simple, to me, the point of the meaning of life is to simply experience it, to exist and experience. There's so many people around the world. There's animal, there's insect, there's nature, there's you know a lot of different knowledge, a lot of work of art that you can learn, like cooking, dancing, and science or business. There's so many things that we can learn. So it's kind of like playing a sandbox, playing Minecraft, and then you get to do what you want to do, or like like Terraria, one of my favorite games. So it's about everyone have their own ways of playing, what items, what weapon they want to use. So allow me to drink water. Yeah, I'm glad. I think the camera is not moving anymore, isn't it? Previously, it keeps moving left and right. I think because I have this setting on where it will, I think it's called a stabilizer. So whenever I move, it will start following, which it feels a bit, it feels a bit weird. It feels like I'm the one that is rotating. I quite like this one. So, back to the topic. I think the first thing is about knowing your worth. I think it's also very common. People, they about themselves, ask themselves, like, am I worthy? Do I deserve all these things? I mean, I don't have the answer for it, but I do remind myself, I might not be worthy, or I might not deserve all these things, whether it's good or bad, but I have them, and so I want to be grateful for what I have and what I don't have, or the friends, the companions, the clothing and stuff. But yeah, white shirt. Been wearing white shirt quite a lot. So I think it's the first thing about it. See, I don't really have like a very clear direction. It could be considered bad as well, but it's also not necessarily bad. It depends on how you look at it. I think it's more like I mentioned previously, just sharing whatever idea you have. I think the first thing is about knowing that when it comes to my worth, right? Knowing that most things does not define my worth. Not the money, not the fame, not the success I have, not the achievement, not how skillful I am. I think when it comes to worth and related to what I understand in Stoicism, I think the action and your willpower define it. The act of common good, the act of virtue and moral, being more moral, yeah. So I think that's my understanding lah. So it's not about how smart you are, or how what grades you have, and all that. It can be very competitive, because the thing is, like, there's always someone who is like better than you. Maybe, like, let's say I'm good at art, but there could be like thousands or millions of people that is better than me. So does that mean my worth is not good enough? It is not good enough. Does that mean I'm not worthy because I'm not better than someone else? But then if you think about the other way, you're also, you know, you're also better than someone else that doesn't, let's say, master art or don't know art at all. But the point is, it's not about competition. I think your worthiness is not about competing with how good you are, how bad, how to say, how better or how worse compared with others. The point is comparison, and not comparing and not competing. uh, I knew it, man. I knew the video is gonna stop very soon. 50 minutes. I still don't know how to. I think 15 minutes is the maximum length for this digital camera recording. But yeah, one more battery. Hopefully, it won't die all of a sudden when I talk for so long and then I didn't realize it. So when it comes to myself, my it could be art or it could be anything, just improving myself. The thing is like we can. I believe human is limitless, but at the same time it's also limited. I think the what I mean is like you can do better, but it's not like all of a sudden you just become better. It may take years of practice, you know, slowly one step at a time to get to where you are. Just like when I first do art, I'm not that good, but slowly I practice. Eventually I improve a lot, and sometimes improvement doesn't just show on, how to say, it doesn't show directly. Yeah, I think sometimes we might feel discouraged when we don't get the result we want, the result we expected. So we might feel, discouraged about it. But yeah, I think everything we go through, whether it's painful or suffocating or feeling very high or happy, I think there's always something to learn from it. There's always a lesson in every little things, and I think one thing I'm learning is to be patient. I can be very impatient. I can complain a lot. I can whine about it a lot, and I mean it's unhealthy because I do it so constant, and I never really find the solution for it, and I just keep on complaining until the issue is gone. Or keep worrying. It's the same concept. Keep worrying about something that hasn't yet happened, but I'm fearful. What happened if this thing happened? What if my life gonna ruin and all that? What if I you know say or do something that hurts someone's feelings, something like that? Shit, I'm not not so sure where I am right now, but yep. Maybe when I watch back my video in the future, I probably will understand. I'm sure I will understand that. But right now, all I think is about what to talk next. Uh, so yeah. Mm, so yeah, and I think the second thing is about complimenting yourself is as an act of self-love. I know it might sound very silly, but it's something that I'm practicing also to you know that I am enough. I may not be the best person in this world, but I am enough for, and I'm better than before, than who I was, and I think that's more than enough. And I feel like I want to appreciate myself more on this changes that I have through the years, because the thing is that right now I could be who I was, or worse, but I decided to change. I decided to take this pain and suffering, I welcome them, and to change from it. I think when it comes to pain and suffering, I know it's inevitable, but and I know there's something. I know I can grow from it, but also I can't help but to fear to suffer. I think it's understandable because I mean I think we know how it feels like when you suffer or you have this downtime. You feel like it's endless love. You feel like it never ends. It's like, oh my god, this is it. I'm gonna be like this forever. But the truth is, it's not. But the emotion can feels like it, especially when if you deal with anxiety, you might feel like you're on the edge. You feel like you're about to go crazy. But just know that we all will go through it, no matter how painful it is. We all will go through it. Yeah, the another way to compliment to give myself compliments is quite funny actually. Basically, I would just tell myself that I suck. Like I would say all this stuff to myself, but at the end I add this, I still love you, even though you suck, even though there's so many simple things that you can't do it, but I still love you. And it sounds a bit fake lah, but it's something that I'm willing to learn to practice because I believe self love is is something truthful and something real. And it's just maybe through the years I haven't do that, I haven't practiced, I haven't cultivate, so it feels silly, it feels weird to do so. Um, oh yeah, another thing about worthiness is that I want to share about a story of bugs, insects, basically. I used to I'm still very afraid of bugs, yeah. Except like ants, small ants, but and maybe like mosquito, but or flies. But usually I'm very afraid of bugs, especially those you know tiny animals or bugs that move fast all of a sudden, like lizard or frogs. I mean, frogs is not so scary lah, but like lizard, sometimes I was scared because it's just like it's standing on the wall. All of a sudden, it's like so I will feel very fearful, even though it's so tiny, and kind of like spider as well. And thinking back, I actually I feel shameful. Like God damn it! Like whenever I see bugs, I would try to kill it, or I was trying any way just to let them get the fuck away from me. And through this growing, I starting to realize why did I do that anyway? Yeah, I mean they might be small, and they might be just insect itself, but I'm sure there's purpose. I think no matter how small you are, especially if you look at this endless universe, we are very small, and I feel like wait, right, yeah. So we are actually very small, but our worth is not again defined on how long we live or how giant we are. Someday we might live very suddenly, but it doesn't it doesn't define our worthiness. We are we are here. I think it's a gift. It's a gift from God, from nature. It's a gift from our parents, and I think it's a beautiful thing when human beings or just any living creature they come together and cooperate to love one another. I think that's something very beautiful, especially as a human. I think we are all fragile, like anything can kill us at any moment, but we are here to protect each other, to help and care for one another. I think that's something very beautiful. I think uh, stoicism as well, in this book meditation written by Marcus Aurelius. I think I remember he mentioned also that we human, we are born for each other. Of course, we are also born for ourselves, lah. But I think yeah, both we are born for ourselves and each other, to be there for one another, but also to not disregard yourself, which is something I do quite a lot, quite often. I would just be there for someone, and I would neglect myself. I would not consider myself, you know. I don't know if it makes sense. Like basically, I would just disregard myself for how I might feel and all that, and all I want to do is make someone feels good. I find it very unhealthy, especially when there's this expectation that you wish for reward, you wish for return after you being nice to someone else, and then you don't get it, and then the next thing you know, you either feel very upset or you start resenting on someone else. So I think that's something to it's very unhealthy. And I realized I mean, I don't resent that, but I would feel upset for sure if I, be nice to someone else and then, if they don't mm, treat me the same as or treat me as I expected. But I also want to admit that in the past, I do feel sort of bitterness and resentment also. I'm not sure if I have right now. Maybe I do, but I want to own up to it. I think it's very difficult to own up yourself as being wrong because it makes seem as weak. And but I want to do it for myself because you never know that you may be wrong. Something that you have changed over the years, you don't know you might do it again. You know, mistakes happens. I think we are humans and we're not perfect. I mean, it's very easy to say than do, but then next thing you know, I'm just gonna blame myself. I'm gonna beat myself up for that, which is something I'm learning too. An act of self-love is to forgive myself for the imperfections of myself. That I make a lot of mistakes and I have a lot of flaws. Yeah, the next point. Right, 26 minutes. Uh, let's keep going. There we go. Welcome again. So, the next thing, I think, like I just mentioned, basically, is to let go the longing and the desire for others' love and care, for their support and for their attention. Because I find myself too often I rely from others' words or action to feel happy, and I never really feel like I never really be there for myself. So that's something that I want to learn, even if there's time that I feel like the world is against me, then nobody's gonna be there and love me. I think it's common to feel like this, even though there's people who love and care for you. Uh, Not everyone. I'm sure some people they really don't have that person to be there for you for them, and I hope if you are that person, I hope one day, even if at the end nobody is still gonna be there for you, I hope you can go through all these difficult times and be kind and loving to yourself. So yeah, I yeah, that's my point. That's my point. Basically, rely too much on others. Um, so the next thing is about let loose a bit. I think as for someone who struggle with OCD, I fear too much, way too much for every little things I said and done. I worry if I'm gonna offend others. I worry if I'm gonna make others feel uncomfortable, make them feel sad, and I worry if I hurt their feelings. Partly because I do that shit a lot in the past, but it's something I also want to learn to let go of the past because I'm not who I was. Even if in the future or right now I'm gonna make the same mistake as I used to, it it is completely different. So I wanna forgive myself right the present now and the myself in the past. I know I was to think back. I know I was lost. I was frustrated. I don't know how to socialize. I don't know how to be kind. I know how to be kind, but I've always find myself to be aggressive while being kind to others. So I don't know why also. Uh, so that's something that I want to forgive myself. Sometimes in life you just gotta go back, you know, to feel how you felt and to be there for your past self, your inner child, and to let them know, hey, I'm stronger right now. I've changed so much, and I'm here. I'm here for you. I know the past has been very difficult, but you have made it through. I am a better and a stronger person right now compared to how I was. And though I may still make a lot of mistakes, I may still feel down, all that, but but we will walk this journey together, and we will continue learning to love ourselves and be kind to ourselves and others. So yeah, I think yeah, a big part of it is it was really from the past time. I tend to just remember way too much stuff in the past, and I just feel sad about it. But comparing to back then, right now it's lesser definitely, but it can still weigh me down. So that's something I wanna learn to cultivate, to forgive myself for what I did in the past and what I might do in the future. Uh, yeah, the next point is letting go of others' judgment, letting go the fear of offending others. I think that's one thing. Also, I'm too sometimes I'm too careful to how to say what's on my mind because I'm really scared to hurt others' feeling, especially if others doesn't tell me, So that's something I'm afraid of, but I want to learn to let loose because I feel like anxiety was there to protect me from danger, but over time, too much of it, like false alarm of anxiety, at the end just destroy me and it makes me feel constant nervous and it makes me depressed because I worry way too much for every action I did. I know at the end, as long as I don't have this harm intent to others, then I think that matters the most. And if others happen to tell them, oh, I don't like how you just talk to me or how you treat me, then I will own up to it. I will apologize and learn from it. Yeah, I think that's one of the best way, like owning up, being vulnerable about yourself and admitting whatever you done that could be wrong, even though maybe in your head you'll be like, what what I did wrong, what I did. But yeah, that's one thing I'm actually quite proud of it, because I've been practicing that, but I probably you know I apologize way too much for every little thing, especially nobody even says anything, and then I start apologizing for the thoughts that I have in my head. And like I said, I struggle with OCD, so I could have a lot of intrusive thoughts and stuff, and I start apologizing for thinking. And then one night I just asked myself, like how many times am I gonna apologize in this case? Because the thoughts gonna keep coming, and even if it's not OCD itself, we tend to misjudge, or we believe in some horrible shit. But I think the more important thing is your action. If you didn't act on it, there's always you can always learn to change, like through communication or through acting in life. Yeah, there's always something new to change. I think there's also one weird thing is like I tend to but when I'm trying to share about my thoughts and emotions, like let's say if I judge wrong or anything inside my head, I would start with apology. 'Cause I feel like I was wrong. I mean it's weird, but it's not also like I can validate my feelings, like understand why do I apologize, because I feel like yeah, I was not right to judge others so quickly. But one thing also I'm glad because I didn't. Alright, sometimes I do judge, like from speaking, and I realized I was wrong. Then I would apologize. But I think compared to back then, I reduced a lot because I know my thoughts aren't fact and isn't correct. Isn't always correct because even for someone like me that likes to think you know positive, like think both way lah, basically, like look at different perspective of thing, I might still happen to be too single-minded to of something. Sorry. So I think that's something to learn also. I think like my friend says, the first thought isn't isn't the most important thing as well. Yeah. So actually, to me, yeah, I do agree. Especially I agree a lot that action is the main reason, is the main thing that matters. I think, especially when the way we were brought up, the way we were taught, what we see, what we hear, what we experience through our growth is very easy to, you know, judge others on inside. So I understand that. I think one thing also to let go of the judgment of others is because it's normal we all judge each other, you know. It might be intrusive thoughts or it might be just a natural thoughts that pops up. So I think it's very easy to judge that. And I think often judgments may seem like a bad things, but to look at it in another way, it also helps you to grow. It also lets you, gives you time to analyze your thoughts, that maybe you realize you're wrong on your judgment. And through that, when you communicate, if you're willing to communicate with someone, you realize, oh, so this person is like this, it's not what I imagined. That is, communication is the key also lah. But it's also very difficult for a lot of us to communicate with different people, you know, because we are scared to offend others. Maybe not we lah, just talk about me lah. Because I don't know what others think. So, but as I know, I'm afraid of offending others, saying the wrong things, and all that. So yeah, but I want to learn to forgive myself, and always be prepared to admit and own up my wrong to others. Uh, yeah. So the next point, my video is getting longer each time. I think last time was like 37 minutes, and right now it's just like, hey, wait, last time it's 36, I think, and right now it's 37, and I have a lot more. I have a lot more to want to share. And if you're still here, keep watching, and thank you for listening to me talking to the camera. I appreciate that. Think what else? Yeah, and some other ways to cultivate self-love is to forgive myself. Yeah, which I already mentioned about it, like to forgive that all of my imperfections and my flaws, to forgive my absence, especially like things that seems easy to do and then I fail to do so. Think to be kind to myself, because even if something that is very easy to do, sometimes I still manage to flex it up. So I want to forgive myself for that. And yeah, I think I've already said about this, but it's okay. It's not about making it super clear, it's just about me, a human being, sharing my thoughts and emotion through the internet with the people around the world. And the next point is to remember to take breaks. I think this is one thing that is very hard. I tend to just sit my ass in front of the laptop and, I don't know, working. It could be personal art, or it could be like, working on my job. Actually, it's okay to take breaks. I mean, it's necessarily to take breaks. Actually, it's not just okay to take breaks. It's a necessarily, even though if it's just 5 minutes, I think it's more than enough. I think like this is one YouTuber that I really like and admire. His name is Heinz, and he have a lot of video about self-love, and talk about spiritual stuff. So one thing this one quote he says is to rest is to rejuvenate. Rejuvenate means like to how to say, to shit, I don't know what's the meaning actually. I mean I do know in Chinese, but kind of like restore your energy. Yeah, I think sometimes I, whether it's a personal work or job, I tend to want to continue work because I want to do my best and stuff. But because I don't rest, sometimes I feel like I'm actually wasting my time to continue working on something that doesn't seem to have any improvement because my brain is already like "Ugh." And I didn't rest when I need to, so that's why it affects my productivity lah. So that's something I'm learning also. I think I've been doing for these 2 days. I would meditate, I would read books, I would take a break lah and meditate and read books, and it helps more or less actually. And yeah, I want to take it slow. I think at the end it's about me giving so much pressure and being so harsh to myself because I want to do it good. Oh shit, my battery is dying. Wait, god damn it, man. I think the camera stopped itself. Never mind. I still have my audio. But yeah, I know the problem now. But changes also is very difficult. But I'm not giving up to change, to take it one step at a time. It can be very harsh now, like I said, because I want to do my best. And actually, sometimes it helps, but I think often it doesn't. It only makes me feel more stressed out and more unproductive. Kind of like when you draw versus when you force yourself to draw every single day. You're gonna just end up doing nothing because the stress is way too much for yourself. And then whenever you start thinking about you want to make your own personal art or do something, you feel like already burned out and stuff. So that's something I'm actually learning too. I've been taking a break from making my personal art for about a month, until recently I posted just a new one. It's called Inner Growth. And yeah, that night I was just vibing music. I think I was listening to Pitch Tree Ruskers, one of my favorite band actually. I would link down in my channel, in the description later. And I was just enjoying and vibing after months of taking breaks. And I'm learning to no need to force myself to be productive during weekends. I think, yeah, I mean being productive is good also, it's fun, but I realize I'm relying on productivity to make myself feel good, sort of the same concept as relying on others, their cares and their attention to feel good about myself. And so that's one thing I learned, to take a break from making art. And something also I learned to deal with being alone and all that, because sometimes I think it's very easy, you just want people around you, but to cope with your loneliness and all that. But I think through studying stoicism, I want this freedom. I want this freedom of not bound to anyone or anything. I want to be able to love, to be kind, and to have my passion of creating art and all that, but without being bound to it. Because when you're being bound to it, you feel like you are nothing without that thing or that person. You are so attached to it that you essentially become a slave to something or someone. So that could be very unhealthy, which is why I feel stressed whenever I don't create my personal art, especially when I think, oh, Gray Life, the art I creating, the Gray cartoon. I always think like, it's so simple, man. Why can't I just do it once a week, or more than that? So I think it's not about the productivity itself. It's about the mental and the spiritual health thing. So yeah, that's something also I'm learning to, whenever, yeah, to not look at art, to not look at creating art as productivity only, because that's what I do. That's what I perceive, is that my productivity is basically just creating art. If I don't do that, I'm considering not being productive, and I'm wasting my time, and you know that, yeah, and I feel shit about myself. And so, yeah, I've been starting to read again a lot. I said a lot lah. I'm not like reading 50 pages a day, but maybe like 1 or 2 pages or 3 pages a day. um it was quite fun. I think when the boring part about reading right now is that this one book, actually, like the whole book, right, half of the pages is the content itself, and then the next half of the pages are just notes. Like the notes will explain what the writer is writing, or what is his intention, which is good actually, because it helps me to understand, because I don't necessarily understand what the whole book is about. But there's also so many numbers, like it was says, for this point, see notes on 4.3 or 2.1, something like that. And I just kind of feel bored about it. But I also, yesterday I start rereading discourses and selected writing again, and it was fun. I try to read slowly, and rereading actually does give me some new perspective. Especially I'm trying to, how to say, search up words this time, because for the first time I read, I try not to keep reading and stopping and reading and stopping just to look for the definition of word. I just want to go with, keep going. And so the second time, then only I start to search for the words up, and it helps out. And yeah, yeah. I don't know where I am already. We're talking about self-love, but hey, reading is also an act of self-love, I guess. It helps me to, I don't know why, whenever I read, I feel anxious. But yeah, something I'm also learning, to read slowly. There's no need to rush. I have all the time just to read. And yeah, slowly letting go of not needing to be productive, not needing to create art 24/7. Because that's what I used to do, I guess. Like I would sit 4 or 5 hours straight just to make one art, and then I would play games for like 2 or 3 hours, basically continuously sitting in front of my laptop during the weekends or weekdays after work hour. And I find it to be very unhealthy. I don't want to just constantly be sitting in front of the laptop or my phone. I want to experience different things. Even though recording YouTube it basically technically feels a bit the same, but it's also different. Oh shit, my camera. No, my camera! God damn it, man. Ah, never mind. The battery's dead already. So I'm just gonna continue a little bit more without the camera. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say, I guess. Self-love is definitely not easy, especially for someone who neglecting himself for the past years. But I know it's never too late. And yeah, I I don't know I don't know what else to say, actually. I hope everyone, if you're going through difficult times, take it slow. Life is gonna be difficult. It's a lot of a lot of things going on, but take it slow. Yeah, take it slow. And I believe we all will make it through, and will be alright. Yeah, that's it. Today I'm here for myself for another day to continue practicing self-love, to be kind to myself, and to forgive myself for what I should have done, or what are the things that I did in the past, and just go with the flow. Just be kind and be take it easy for myself. Ultimately, not everyone's gonna like us anyway, but at least we can be here for ourselves, no matter how the world against us, no matter how people disagree our opinion and all that. People who dislike us or and all that doesn't mean they are, you know I don't want to swear, even though I already did a few times, but doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means simply that everyone have their different opinion and their perspective, and you know how people approach each other is different. So yeah, that's it. I think let's continue to be kind and loving to ourselves and others. Thank you for listening. This is another one of the longest video I have so far. 51 minutes. Yeah. It was quite fun actually to talk about things that uh, what's on my mind. I'm grateful that there's a platform for me to share on the internet through through the internet with people around the world, or just local people. So thank you. I will see you next time.